What if I told you the College Football Playoff Committee this upcoming week, by their criteria, they'll probably get it right in their own eyes and we won't have a ton of pushback. But I'm here to tell you our own college football playoff rankings are going to be different than theirs. And we just take this thing from a face value. We probably a little bit more of a emphasis on the eye test because we do watch all the football games. We do actually watch what happens in an 11-11 scenario. We care about the resume. That matters to us. But at the end of the day, it's about football, right? It's about what happens between the white lines. So with that being said, I'm going to give you our first two out and then our top four when it comes to the college football playoff rankings as we see them. Okay, so different criteria, not a projection or prediction. Ball and only ball. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Judy Pickell. Surging towards 200,000 subscribers. Would love to have you all a part of it. Would love to hear your take as well on our top six. All right, let's get right to it, man. At number 6, we got Oregon. Now, Oregon's number 6. They're behind another Pac-12 team. We'll talk about here in a second. Even though they lost the head-to-head, I think Oregon's the best team in the Pac-12. And we'll get some pushback for saying that. That's okay. Bo Nix, his experience, the internal temperature of this Oregon team, there has been zero letdown since that game against Washington. They lost by 3 points. The defense is built like a Big Ten team on the defensive line and the offensive line. And then they have all the skill in the world on the perimeter and Bo Nix running the show. They're going to be dangerous. You don't want to play them in November. I fully expect them to find their way into this top 4. To be 100% honest, I think they'll be a playoff team. I think they'll win the Pac-12 with one loss. But even so, right now, resume, you keep them at 6th. And again, the head-to-head for me is hard to get behind to put them ahead of Washington. But for me, Oregon number 6 in this week's college football playoff rankings. For us, now at number 5, you got Washington. I just said a bunch of good things about Oregon. That's not to take anything away from Washington, because Washington is, when they're clicking, probably the scariest team in college football, offensively at least. Michael Penix Jr., going to make a lot of money in the NFL here very, very soon. They weren't even full strength against USC and still 50-pieced them. And the way they did it, too, not just throwing the ball, it was running the ball, too. Dylan Johnson, over 250 yards rushing, like close to 10 yards a carry, just a shade under that. That's scary. And I know it was USC. I don't want to overhype the way that they bodied USC's defense. But I think in a game like that, on the road, it kind of looked a little bit sluggish the 2 weeks prior. To see them get up for a game like that when they're not at full strength, Washington, going to be very scary the rest of the way. They're a team that even if they drop a game before the Pac-12 title game, if they win the Pac-12, even with one loss, I think you got to put them in there. And the eye test for Washington, at least yesterday, spoke volumes. Now, the defense you're still worried about a little bit because of the fact they allowed 40-plus against USC, but that's still Caleb Williams on their sideline. Washington, main thing, stay undefeated. You'll be in the dance. No problem. Don't worry about being 5 for us this week. At number 4, I got Florida State. Without Keon Coleman, without Johnny Wilson, found a way to get it done. There's something to be said for finding a way, because Pitt, scrappy football team. I mean, they had their back against the wall. They beat Louisville. Like, Pitt was a team that very easily could have given Florida State more trouble. The defense, yet again, holds it down, shuts off the water, second half shutout. Jordan Travis had a lot more on his plate yesterday, in my opinion, by nature of the guys he didn't have around him. All he did was go for over 300 yards, be the calming presence on the field, and lead his team to a victory. He deserves more national buzz. There is not a player that means more to their football team than Jordan Travis. You can make a case for Marvin Harrison Jr., you can make a case for Caleb Williams at USC. Those are all fair points, but I think for Jordan Travis, he drives the whole operation at Florida State. He deserves more Heisman buzz. That's the way we feel about it. Their resume the rest of the way, probably not a ton of meat on the bone. You still have some games that are, I would say, quote-unquote, losable, even though they'll be favored and they probably should win those games against Florida and Miami. They still have to take care of business, and when they get to the ACC title game, assuming they play a team like Louisville, that could kind of be the resume boost, if you will, for them. But again, if they're undefeated, they're not getting left out. They're undefeated right now. The culture internally to find a way without your best players on the field at the wide receiver position, your kind of your fastball, your matchup guys, speaks volumes to me about what they are. Florida State for me, number 4 this week in our college football playoff rankings. Now at number 3, the committee's going to put them at number 1. Zero issue with that. For me, again, we put more emphasis on the eye test. Ohio State's at 3. And they have the best resume in college football. They're winning games how they're asking their team to win games. Kyle McCord, field general, not game manager. It's a bad word. Field general. Marvin Harrison Jr., when it's time to win, they go to him. He had pretty pedestrian stats when it came to like his number of catches, but he had 2 touchdowns. That ended up being the nail in the coffin against Rutgers for Ohio State. Travion Henderson, with him in the lineup, changes the entire complexion of that offense. He's the change of pace back. He's the hot sauce to the offense. He did some things in the pass game for them. I mean, being the check down guy that can make you miss and go the distance. I mean, he has that kind of gear to him, and we saw that with the way he played against Rutgers yesterday. Ohio State, they're going to be just fine. It's all about the game against Michigan. It's all about trending the right direction. Don't worry about where you are in the rankings for the college football playoff or for us here. Like, just handle business. Ryan Day has a tough football team in Columbus. They will match up better with Michigan than they have in the past. But the quarterback's not C.J. Stroud. It's not Justin Fields. Well, C.J. Stroud threw for over 300 yards both times against Michigan in the last 2 years, and they lost that. So the quarterback play isn't necessarily the answer, in my opinion, to beating Michigan. It's the trenches. And the trenches for Ohio State are much better this year. Not predicting anything. I'm just saying that will be a better matchup for Ohio State this upcoming season, or this season, rather, against Michigan. Now, for Michigan, they're number 2. Again, the eye test for me has them at number 2. They've been dominant in every sense of the word. Line them up. Michigan knocks them down. Handle Purdue. It's going to be chippy now the rest of the way for Michigan. Fall camp just ended in Ann Arbor. They got to handle business the rest of the way against Maryland, against Penn State, against Ohio State. Penn State's obviously next up on the list. You got to go to State College. My question for them is, have you built that muscle now? We're going to find out. We talk about it a lot. Michigan has been lifting lightweight for a lot of reps the last couple of weeks. We think we know what Michigan is based on the proven production from last season they have on defense and J.J. McCarthy wheeling and dealing, and the offense with the 2 tight ends kind of taking that next step. They've been dominant, so I can't put them anywhere besides number 2 personally. But we're going to find out what they have under the hood against Penn State, and I cannot wait for it. So if they beat Penn State, we'll see where they are on our rankings next week, and we'll see where the College Football Playoff Committee puts them at. But for us, this week, they are number 2 in our rankings. Now, Georgia is number 1 for me. It's about the organization. It's about the eye test. It's about Kirby Smart, because the personnel changes every single year, right? This year is no exception. You lost Stetson Bennett, it's Carson Beck. You lost Todd Monken, it's Mike Bobo. You lost Darnell Washington. Heck, you lost Brock Bowers to injury right now. And you hate that. I mean, when he gets back, you're going to be a better football team. There's no way around it. But regardless, this Georgia team falls back on the DNA traits that Kirby Smart has impressed upon them: composure, competitive excellence, no letdown, unflappable. Carson Beck, I said it in our breakdown around Georgia. Life gave him lemons, he gave them right back. Carson Beck, if he was shipwrecked on an island, he would make it Hawaii. Like, that is kind of the way that he operates. Missouri tried to get after Georgia yesterday. Got to the quarterback a few times, but Carson Beck just consistently diagnosed like a doctor, delivered like a midwife, was efficient as all get out yet again. The offense yet again put up big numbers. They're efficient in every sense of the word, just every single week, taking what's asked of them to win the football game. And Carson Beck does not look like a first-year starting quarterback at all. A win over number 12 Missouri, nice little resume boost. They were already number 1 for us. I don't think the committee will have them at number 1, but I think they should be, and I think they're the best team in the country when it comes to the playoff landscape, when it comes to the college football landscape. So to recap it for you, our first 2 out, I think we're going to agree with the committee here. Oregon at 6, Washington at 5. Florida State at 4. I'd be surprised if we saw them anywhere but 4 with the committee. Now, Ohio State, they're going to be 1 for the committee. For us, they're number 3. Best resume. The eye test for me, still a little bit left to be desired. Michigan at 2, just so dominant. In Georgia, the trust in the organization. They're playing their best football right now. They're dangerous. I wouldn't want to play them in November. They're number 1 right now for us in our college football playoff rankings. Make sure you're subscribed. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know on social media at Jody Pickell, on all the social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Yeah, on TikTok, at Jody Pickell. Let me know what y'all think, and looking forward to hearing from y'all there. But again, most importantly, make sure you're subscribed here, pushing for 200,000. So thank you in advance for that. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Going to keep this party rolling now. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.